Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is evolving from the future. And this should be really fun. So I can't wait to talk with you about it. But before we get started, let's take a minute to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, energizing all your cells and your molecules and your electrons and creating a brilliant beam of light from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's just gently press our palms together and very softly rub your fingers against your palms to feel the deliciousness of the tickling and the tingling and the wonderful sensation, and allow that sensation to bring you present right here, right now, in this remarkable physical form that enables you to experience life. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to be here with you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this time that we get to spend together every morning. And I'm just checking to make sure all is good as far as being live on Facebook. And I see that we are. So we're good to go. And I don't see any comments yet. So that's why I haven't responded, but know that I'm here. If you guys want to comment, go to the Enlightened World Network Facebook page, EWN, Enlightened World Network. And that's where this is going live, and you can comment there, and I should be able to see your comments if you do that, hopefully. But anyway, today's topic is evolving from the future. And I'm just going to share with you, I'm reading this book by Annalise Smitman and Jean Houston, and it's called The Quest of Rose. And it's book one in a trilogy. The other two have not yet been released, is my understanding, and it is called the Future Humans Trilogy, and this is book one, The Cosmic Keys of Our Future Becoming. And I had taken a course a while ago that I think I had shared with you called Leading from the Emerging Future. And I think this is very much along the same idea. This is very much the same notion that we can connect through time and space, through our imaginal capabilities meaning the power of our imagination, to project ourselves into the future, into our future, into a future, and receive information back from that future. In other words, we do this all the time. I mean, it's not as woo-woo as it sounds. Not that I have anything against woo-woo, but when we imagine ourselves, we imagine a home for ourselves, or we imagine ourselves on a vacation, or we imagine ourselves in a new job or doing something in the world. It's that projection of our thought that inspires us to take the action to manifest whatever that thing is, right? And so in the book, it's really interesting. They were recounting a story of some children that met Einstein and asked Einstein how they could get to be as smart as Einstein was. And he said, read fairy tales. In other words, cultivate your imagination. And if you recall the story about how he discovered E = mc squared, he envisioned himself riding on a light beam. So he was cultivating his imagination and his imaginal capacity. And this is something that we can do with great effect. And then we can grow into that aspect of ourselves and our future based on a few and information that was informed from the future. So I'm just going to read a quote from the book, and I'm at the very beginning of it. So on in chapter 1, they went through, it's told in story form, and I'm probably going to share a bunch of this because I think it's pretty awesome. But the first chapter is talking about the key of conscious choice, which is a whole other topic. But there's a summary section, and we talk about choice all the time, choice and presence, and so that's very, very familiar and aligned with what we've been up to in our conversations. But I do want to share this. This is a couple little quotes from the summary of chapter 1. So you can't renew your life from old realities. Enter the consciousness. Here, Gia, welcome, welcome. So good to have you here with us. So now I know the comments are working because I see you here, Gia. Gia says, hello, Mira Rubin, with you here again, loving this power of imagination. Exactly. Good morning, Rosalind. So good to have you here with us. So Gia, with the power of imagination, is really the power of our consciousness that is creating something from nothing. And as we cultivate that ability to creatively let our minds explore, we can discover possibilities and bring them into manifestation. So I'm just going to continue to read this. So we each carry within us the possibility of a new choice from a new future cycle. It's from the future choice that we can heal and repattern ourselves in the world. And I love this idea because what it allows us to do, or what it encourages us to do, is to move from the notion that the past indicates the future, like that the past predicts the future. And in many cases, that's true, that the past has predicted the future, and we can create anew by stepping into that future and then bringing it backwards. So when we look at an objective, let's say you have a goal, and I'm not talking about goals in general, but just the mechanism of how things work with a goal. We have a goal, or we have an objective. We project ourselves into the future, into that objective, and then work backwards from there. What's it going to take to get us there, right? Like, here's the end point. This is the milestone we want to reach, and here are the steps to get there. And we can reverse engineer it. And that's actually what we're talking about, is reverse engineering our present from the future. And we need to do that in order to make the transformations that we require as human beings on this planet in order to continue to survive, let alone grow and thrive. Dan Heelan, hello, hello. You made it into the comments. Hello. I'm so thrilled to have you here. So Dan said, when you helped me let go of some things, you helped me form a new future. I love you. I love you too, Dan. I'm so glad you showed up. How exciting. And Elaine, we haven't seen you for a while. I was just thinking of you this morning and wondering where you've been and how you're doing. So welcome back. It's great to have you here with us. So what we're talking about is creating from the future. And we can heal our past to leave space and expansiveness to be able to experience more possibility. That's like kind of making fertile soil. And by extending ourselves into the future and using our imaginal powers, I love that word, we can access whole new possibilities. So I'm going to give you an example for myself, and it is shaping my life. And oh, good, Elaine. Elaine says I'm fabulous, love. Wonderful. I'm so glad to hear it. So my vision of the eco park is something that came from the future, really. And what I mean by that is I have this vision of a World's Fair type sustainability exposition that is just magnificently beautiful and phantasmagorical and transformational. And anyway, I've had this vision, and what I realized when I actually stepped into ownership of it, what I needed to do was I needed to be willing to recognize my future self that had the capacity to be able to hold such a vision, and to manifest that vision. Because really, when I made that choice, I didn't know anything about sustainability, really. I didn't have any connections in that world. All I knew was that there was immense possibility. And I also knew that I could not continue to be the person that I was in order to create that possibility. And what I mean by that is that I was living small in so many ways. Good morning, Kimberly. So good to have you here with us. I'm so glad you're back. It's great to be together again. So what I'm talking about for us in terms of evolving from the future is allowing this future possibility to inform our current choices, our current options, our current perspectives. And it is not an exercise of we don't get to dismiss this as a flight of fancy that is indulgent rather than creative. This is a strategy for actually creating a future that we can live into. So what I did was I recognized I couldn't continue being the person that I was being to be able to step into this future. I had to get past a lot of aspects of myself, my own self-perceptions, even my social circle. I needed to expand into a different quantum of beingness. Let's talk about it in terms of energy, quantum energy. There's not a linear transition from one energy state to another. It's a quantum jump. For those of you that are maybe not familiar with the notion of what quantum energy really is, we're talking about how electrons have different orbitals. And it seems like you never know exactly where they are in that orbital, but they're in a general pattern. They're moving in a general pattern until there is additional energy added into the system enough so that they move out of that pattern quite suddenly into a whole different pattern. And then they move in this whole different pattern. And this is what we talk about when we talk about going from 3D to 5D, or we talk about quantum shifts. It means that it's not a linear transition, it's a jump. And we can make, in any given moment, we know that in any given moment, we can make a new choice. And these choices can be inspired by the future calling us forward. So it's a new way to think about things, because so many of us have lived from our past, have created our present and projected our future by projecting our past forward. And there are limitations to that, right? When instead, I mean, just, it's kind of like trying to walk forward while you're looking back. You know, that can be dangerous. You can be stumbling over all kinds of things that obstacles that you're not even seeing because you're so busy looking back. And I think that that's really a situation about or an epitomization of what's happening now. In so many ways, we're looking at history, we're using old paradigms to deal with circumstances that are new and different and never before encountered by humanity. In terms of the environmental and climate challenges that we face. So we're encountering new circumstances. Our technology is at a level that is beyond anything any history recalls. And we're at a new point, and we're facing challenges that we have no answers for from the past. So what we get to do is we get to look at what these challenges are going forward, and not just the challenges, but what the possibilities are going forward, dreaming a new dream into being, essentially, and make our choices based on that future vision, or the needs of the future, what that future is calling for us to generate in order to move into it. So for me, like, choosing the eco park as my life's work was stepping into the vast unknown, and I am allowing myself to be informed from the future about how this thing is going to emerge. I didn't have any idea, but by looking at the needs that this future presents, it is opening new avenues of choice and opportunity for me in conceptualizing it and then in implementing it. So Gia says, I have done this, or say it's been happening unconsciously, living in my past, but realization comes when it comes. And when it comes, things start to move and everything seems transforming. Until then, it's all about effort. It becomes effortless in so many areas as realization happens. Beautiful, Gia. It's really, really true that when we allow ourselves to experience that, what you're saying, what you're calling realization, then things do flow, things change, things transform, magic happens. Or it feels like magic is happening because we have opened ourselves to a flow of experience that is beyond the boundaries of the limits that we've carried forward from the past. So Kimberly says the past does not define us. Exactly. The past is the past. And so many of us do use the past to define us. And we believe because of our transgressions in the past, big air quotes, because of things we've done, things we've said, things we've been ashamed of, or experiences we've had, we carry that with us. And as we age, we carry that as a bigger and bigger burden, weighing us down because of all this baggage from the past, right? So I want to continue reading what you wrote. It's one of the hardest things for me to do is let go of the past. I'm letting go and remain in the present moment and need to start visualizing the future. So yeah, I think it's so much really truly about choosing either to be living life looking forward or living life looking back. It's who we've been. There was such a good quote in here, but I want to read what Rosalind said. Rosalind said, potential is the projection of possibilities. Small successes dissolve the false self as the true self evolves. That is so packed with goodness there, Rosalind. So potential is the projection of possibilities. Yes, it is. And potential is probably way bigger than we even can project in terms of possibilities, because oftentimes our imagination is limited by the boxes that we've been thinking in through our lives, right? We are patterned. We have these habits of thinking. We have these habits of being. We have this identity that we believe ourselves to be based on all of our history. We get to let that go. And this is such a great conversation. It's so aligned with my experience this morning in recognizing aspects of myself that I've been holding on to without even realizing it. So I've been doing a decluttering with a professional organizer who is a wonderful friend and and brilliant at what she does. And we've been clearing out my space, and it's been throwing up a lot of dust, I'm going to say, not just in the space really, as much as in myself. Like I've been recognizing that there are parts of me that are holding on for dear life, and that they don't want to be rehomed or released, so to speak. So I'm just going to read this piece to you if I can find it. Talking about kind of life and death. Two things. So your body, and this is kind of like our being, our identity also. It says your body is not your physical shape, but the process of life that created it. Understand this deeply, and you will realize the keys to rebirth. And I think that this is so poignant. It is about evolving from the future. So who we are is not our past, but it is the process of life and living all those things. The process of life itself expressing itself through us. So who we are is an expression of life expressing itself. And as we allow the accumulation of life and its memories and its experiences to shape, to shape us, we can also release it because it's allowed us to get to this place where we can expand into new capacities and possibilities. So Elaine says, as one shifts to the heart and allows the heart's vibrations to flow, and choosing from the feeling center of the body system, from a feeling of love, boundless and free. Elaine, sometimes it's hard to read your syntax here. I'm sorry if I'm destroying this. So as one shifts to the heart and allows the heart's vibrations to flow, choosing from the feeling center of the body, from a feeling of love, boundless and free from attachments from the past and future, allowing the unknown to manifest a completely new reality. This takes courage and trust in yourself and the formless you to be willing to be vulnerable in the unknown creation through you. Okay, so it's interesting. I think I'm going to try and translate. So I think if I'm understanding what you're saying, and I agree that by being present, when we are present in our being, when we are aligned in our heart and soul, then we are open to the unknown, to allow it to unfold as it will. I think that's what you're saying. And it does take courage. It absolutely does take courage to step into the unknown, 100%. And it takes courage to let go of the attachments from the past, because the attachments of the past give us a sense, a false sense of our being. Good morning, Dennis. So good to have you here with us. Our past gives us a false notion of what we can become. Like if we base our notion of who and what we can become, and really who and what we are, then we're limiting ourselves, rather than taking our mind into a connection with the cosmos, or a future self, to imagine our future and to imagine a world that we would want to be living in, and then make choices based on that rather than our past. Because the truth is that the past actually does become a fabrication. The past that we're carrying forward is really our story of that past, which brings me back to repeating this quote. And here's the book. It's a transformational trilogy, and this is the first one, and the other ones have not yet been released. Your body is not your physical shape. Your identity is not your past, but the process of life that created it. So life itself is the creation. Understand this deeply, and you will realize the keys to rebirth, which means that in any moment we can rebirth ourselves into a new possibility, into a new future. So Kimberly responded to Elaine saying, Elaine Leonard, I love this and truly believe this to be true. Keep the music alive in you and never stop believing that you can't have what we deserve. Never. I think you never stop believing that you can have what we deserve. Beautiful, beautiful, Kimberly. That's lovely. And Elaine says, yes, creating from the empty stillness of your being, through the presence of nothingness, into something and back to nothing again, not holding on to past experiences, not looking back. That's just a habit. So we are Oh, yes, Dennis says, damn, seems like I missed a good session. Well, fortunately, it's recorded, right? So you can just go back and check it out. Anyway, this is very exciting to be engaging in this deliberate, creative act of conscious choice and moving into the possibility of the future, that we get to really create this together. And thank you. I don't know if that's Sue or Dido, but thank you so much for posting the YouTube channel that shows all the other shows. So Gia says, as Elaine said, I think more than thinking it as future, I would say let's allow ourselves to experience unknown and trusting the flow of life as future is again created by our thinking mind. The power of unknown remains as is, and anything can be manifested from there, though it takes courage. So beautiful. You guys are so eloquent today. It does take courage, and it is about stepping into the unknown. And the thing is that we do have the capability to be tapping into the future as it is already emerging, like this future that exists when we're allowing ourselves to be present to it. We flow more readily into it, and this is very much about cultivating that imaginal space. And Elaine says, now is all there is. It's true. It's true that now is all there is. And now incorporates the past and the future. And I'm not saying to not be here. I'm saying presence is the essential piece of this, and moving into this imaginal space is part of how we create and allowing things to, it's a way that we can tap inspiration. It's a way that we can incite inspiration. Wow. So Kimberly says, I moved to Kanab, Utah. I'm settling in. So thankful for this morning. Well, welcome to Kanab. It sounds like it's probably really cold there. And I wish you a wonderful community and happy home in your new place. And I think I'm going to call it a morning. So thank you all for being here and for participating in these conversations and for your eloquence and your presence and thoughtfulness. And yeah, so that's it for today. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live each weekday morning here on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page. So if you guys want to comment, make sure you go to the Enlightened World Network Facebook page, because those are the comments that I see. If you've made other comments and I haven't responded, it's not because you're being ignored, it's because I just didn't see them. So thank you so much for being here. Please check out the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network, the Enlightened World Living Facebook page, and EWN One with the Earth. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you again here soon. So much